Chocolate originated from the Maya of Mesoamerica, which is now the southern area of Mexico, who used to use beans from the cocoa tree to make a warm drink which they called chocolatl, which translated as warm liquid. The Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés overthrew the Aztec Empire in the early 16th century and brought these cocoa beans back to Spain, where the hot drink was made popular, usually with the added sugar or spices. The drink had been translated into an English form, which was called chocolate. It wasn't until 1847 when the first solid chocolate bar was created for public consumption here in England by the company J.S. Fry & Sons, when they took the cocoa beans and mixed them with liqueur and sugar and let them set in a mould, creating a bar of hardened chocolate, thus creating the term chocolate bar and giving us the first dark chocolate confectionery. 30 years later, Swiss chocolatier Daniel Peter would add powdered milk to the mix, creating a lighter milk chocolate variation on Fry's bars. In Japan, however, the introduction would be a little longer than in other countries. Japan would experience a period of isolation between 1633 and 1853 under the rule of the shogun, which restricted trade and visitations of the population to other countries, meaning that this chocolate drink that had been gaining popularity was very rarely seen in areas of Japan unless visitors brought it in with them. After the isolation period in the Meiji era, Japan would receive trade of the cocoa beans and materials to make their own chocolate, and the first bars were produced by the Yokohama Chocolate Company. However, the popularity for chocolate wouldn't really boom until World War II, when American soldiers would often throw candy to Japanese children. Because of this, at this time one of the first English phrases that was learned and used by Japanese children was the phrase, "Give me chocolate." Back in the 1950s, a company advertised Valentine's Day chocolates to non-Japanese living in Japan at the time. The Japanese companies wanted to get on board this too, and also started advertising Valentine's Day chocolates as well. During this period, there was quite a bit of westernization, where people wanted to adopt more Western traditions. And so because of this, Valentine's Day in Japan did fairly well. But there was one problem. It seems that at some point someone messed up a translation and ended up telling the Japanese people that Valentine's Day was an opportunity for women to express their love to men. Because of this, even to this day, it's mostly women giving chocolates to men, but don't worry, men get their turn too eventually. It gets more complicated though, because it's not nice to make people feel left out on Valentine's Day, especially if you, say, work in an office. There are different kinds of chocolates that girls give out now, depending on who they're giving it to. Giri chocolate. Giri chocolate means obligatory chocolate. This kind of chocolate refers to the chocolate you have to give to people who aren't really people you love. These could be people like bosses or co-workers or male friends. But even sadder still, there's also something called Chogiro chocolate, or ultra-obligatory chocolate, which is given to unpopular people you really don't want to give chocolates to. In order to tell these chocolates apart from other, less obligatory chocolates, these chocolates tended to be pretty run-of-the-mill and not super expensive. Things don't start getting crazy until we get to Honmai chocolates. Honmai chocolate means favourite chocolate. This kind of chocolate is the kind of chocolate you give to the one you want to express your love to. These chocolates tend to be more expensive, or possibly even homemade. Basically, it has to be obvious that these are honmei and not giri, so they have to be on a completely different level. Way to go, chocolate companies. Tomo chocolate. Tomo choco just means friend chocolates, and refers to chocolates you give to your female friends, as a female. It's simple as that. Guys don't give anything on Valentine's Day in Japan, lucky people, but they do have their own day 1 month later where they're expected to return the favour, and that day is known as White Day. Luckily enough, White Day is strictly a celebration manufactured by the candy industry. In 1978, the National Confectionery Industry Association tried to boost sales and decided that a new holiday was the best way to do it. Originally it was called Marshmallow Day and was all about marshmallows and not chocolate. People liked the idea of the new holiday but weren't too keen on the marshmallows. Their preferred candy changed from marshmallows to chocolate, but the colour scheme stayed the same. Hence the name White Day, and why white chocolate remains a popular White Day gift even today. One of the biggest selling points of Japanese chocolate today, though, is the sheer variety of flavours. Technically, many of them don't actually count as chocolate because they don't have cocoa in them. However, popular definition deems them still chocolate, and the multitude of types and flavours is awe-inspiring. One thing that Japan likes doing with any sort of product or marketing is regional limited editions, and one fantastic example of this is Kit Kat, where there have been over 200 and counting various flavours. Ever wanted to try a wasabi flavoured Kit Kat? What about a strawberry shortcake one, soy sauce, or even sweet potato flavoured one? So let's look first at Kit Kat. Kit Kat is a chocolate-covered wafer bar confection created by Rowntree's of York in the United Kingdom and is now produced globally by Nestlé, which acquired the Rowntree's brand in 1988. The original four-finger version of the chocolate bar was developed after a worker at the Rowntree's York factory put a suggestion in the recommendation box for a chocolate bar that a man could take to work in his lunch pack. It was launched in September 1935 in the UK as Rowntree's Chocolate Crisp, and the later two-finger version was launched in 1936. It was renamed Kit Kat Chocolate Crisp in 1937 and just Kit Kat after World War II. Since 1957, the slogan for the Kit Kat in the UK and elsewhere has been, "Have a break, have a Kit Kat." The milk chocolate flavoured variant was the standard until the 1990s, when flavours such as orange, dark chocolate, white chocolate, mint and caramel were introduced, but only a few are still available today. However, the tale of Kit Kat in Japan is much more varied and celebrated. In Japan, Nestlé has introduced over 200 different flavours since 2000, including ginger ale, soy sauce, creme brulee, green tea, sake and banana. The flavours are designed to appeal to younger buyers and are often brought as good luck gifts, as the brand's name echoes the Japanese phrase kitukatsu, which is roughly translated as surely win. So our first range of chocolates are from the Kit Kat range. So I have 5 different Kit Kat varieties to try this time round. So first one I have is this one, which is yuzu matcha flavoured Kit Kat. So yuzu is a citrus fruit. We then have Sakura Japanese sake. So that is the Sakura cherry blossom. Then I have a dark matcha, so a dark chocolate Kit Kat. And I have 2 large packets of the strawberry variety and something called Ocean Salt. The Ocean Salt Kit Kat, which looks like it is a white Kit Kat. So we're going to start with the yuzu matcha flavoured one. I'll cut it open so it's easy to get out on camera. So to look at the chocolate itself, it has a greenish tint to it, which is obviously the matcha. And then a very slight smell, very slight citrusy smell to it. So I'm going to break off a finger and give it a try. Yeah. Very interesting combination of flavours there. So I'm familiar with the matcha before. I've never tried a yuzu. So I wasn't expecting the combination. Doesn't really work for me, if I'm honest. That citrus doesn't really go very well. so it's definitely not one that I would be wanting to purchase and try in the future. So number 2 is the dark matcha version. So as I said, this should be a matcha, but it will be dark chocolate rather than milk chocolate. So let's have a look at it. So the Kit Kat itself is pretty much identical to the Yuzu one that I just had, but the green colour is slightly darker. I don't know if that will come out on camera as any different from the first one, but to my eye it is slightly darker in colour. So let's give it a try. Yep, so the matcha is very strong with this. I do like the matcha taste, so it's not a problem for me. However, the slight bitterness of the darker chocolate is unusual. Not something that I've experienced with the Kit Kat. And the wafer tastes slightly stale. I'm sure these are in date. The wafer just tastes slightly stale and less crispy to me than the first one did. I don't know whether this is what it's supposed to taste like, or whether it is slightly out of date. The main problem we have with these is that the original packaging that they come in tells you the expiry date on it, and so the actual product itself here doesn't have an expiry date on. So I could be eating it and it could be out of date. I hope not, but who knows. But yes, I like it, but I wish it didn't taste like it was stale. Okay, so our third one is the Sakura Japanese Sake. So the Sakura is obviously a tree in Japan which produces the beautiful pink blossoms that many areas of Japan are famous for. If you've seen anything about Japan on television, I'm sure you'll have seen shots of the cherry blossom trees. And then sake is an alcoholic beverage which they drink in Japan, which is fermented rice. So I'm expecting a sweet taste to this one, because the sake does have a bit of a sweet taste to it, and the Sakura obviously has a bit of a bitter taste to it, so it will be interesting how they go together. So looking at the Kit Kat itself, it's a lovely pink colour, just like the blossoms are. Smell, yes, there's a very strong floral smell coming off this. Very strong. So I'm intrigued as to whether I'm going to get any taste of sake at all. That's definitely interesting. I can't really describe to you in words how that tastes. It's definite Sakura floral taste to it, and then there's a little bit of a hint of the sake afterwards. You really do taste both of those things. You get the Sakura floral taste that hits your mouth first, and then you get this aftertaste like you've took a drink of the sake and it's lingering in the back of your throat. Actually quite nice. As odd as a flavour it is, I would try these again if given the opportunity to. So it's a thumbs up on that one from me. So now we're on to the big bags. So this is the strawberry flavoured Kit Kats. The interesting thing about these packages are that not only are they made of paper, so we are saving on plastic and helping the environment, but they are also made to be turned into an origami item. So this particular pack, it's got a link to a website on the back of it, a QR code as well. Scan it, it will give you instructions on how to make the crane out of the Kit Kat wrapper. So you fold up your packaging when you finish with it, it makes a little crane. So I shall give that a try and I shall show my efforts on the next video. So very basic, front of the Kit Kat. Just plain pink with strawberry written on it. On the back, you've got a little section there that says "Good job," and then there's a little speech bubble with some lines in where you can write a little message if you want to give it to somebody. And just say, "Good job, here, have a strawberry Kit Kat." So cutting these open, as expected, pink, much like the Sakura was pink. Wow, a very strong strawberry smell. Again, I wasn't expecting it to smell so strong. It's very nice. So, let's give it a try. Yeah, a hint of strawberry in every bite. Not quite as strong as maybe I was expecting it to be, but still very nice. No problem eating those. If anyone gets you a strawberry Kit Kat, say yes, take it and enjoy it. And then the final Kit Kat variety is the Ocean Salt. So as I said before, it looks like this may be white chocolate. I'm presuming that the ocean salt just means that it will be very salty, like a sea salt flavouring to them. And again, the packaging has been made so that you can fold it up and make a little origami piece. So this particular one, it is a turtle, and it tells you the instructions on the back of the pack rather than having to go online for this one. So again, I will make this up and I shall show you in the next video how it came out like. But the actual Kit Kats themselves, all slightly different. So each of them has a different sea animal on them. So we've got a turtle there. Strangely, we have a polar bear swimming underwater on that one. Couple more, I'll just show you some, can't think what they're called, it'll come to me later. Jellyfish, that's the one, and a big old whale there for you. Okay, so you shall have a look at one of these. Let's cut it open and get inside. So we're going to go with one of the polar bears. White, like the package shows. These have obviously melted in transit because they are a bit of a mess. You can't see the Kit Kat branding on them at all. I'm sure they will taste okay. So yeah, white chocolate. Wow. Very strong salt taste to them. Again, you never know what you're going to get with these. Sometimes it's a real little hint of it, and sometimes it's really strong. It's like having a mouthful of salty seawater with every bite. It's not a bad thing, and you know that no one's peed in it. Again, really nice those. I think these are a limited edition, the Ocean Salt, so they're not readily available all the time, like the strawberry ones are, like the Sakura ones and the matcha ones are. Those are available most of the year round, but these Ocean Salt ones I think are a limited edition one. It's the first time I've seen them, but I would definitely get some more of these if I get the chance to. They're real Moorish. I can see myself eating quite a few of these and then regretting it in the morning. Okay, that's the Kit Kats. I hope you enjoyed those. I certainly, well, I say I certainly did. I certainly enjoyed the last couple. Anyway, let's go on to our next product.
The Hershey Company
commonly known as Hershey's, is an American multinational company and one of the largest chocolate manufacturers in the world. It was founded by Milton S. Hershey in 1894 as the Hershey Chocolate Company, a subsidiary of his Lancaster Caramel Company. Hershey's chocolate is available across the United States and in over 60 countries worldwide. In 1900, the first Hershey chocolate bar was produced. In 1907, he introduced a new candy bite-sized flat-bottomed conical-shaped piece of chocolate that he named the Hershey's Kiss. At first they were individually wrapped by hand in squares of aluminium foil. The introduction of machine wrapping in 1921 simplified the process whilst adding the small paper ribbon to the top of the package to indicate that it was a genuine Hershey product. Today, 70 million of the candies are produced daily. Other products introduced included the Mr. Good bar in 1925, containing peanuts in milk chocolate, Hershey's syrup in 1926, semi-sweet chocolate chips in 1928, and a crackle bar containing crisped rice in 1938. These are the Hershey chocolate Daifuku. Daifuku, which means great luck, is a Japanese confection consisting of a small round mochi, which is a glutinous rice cake stuffed with sweet filling, most commonly anko, which is sweetened red bean paste made from azuki beans. Okay, so next up we have the Hershey's. That's the Matcha Choco Daifuku Mochi. Quite a mouthful there, try and say that 3 times in a row. With a lot of these products, especially the mochi products, you'll find that they have a little packet in there. So this is to stop moisture in the packet. It says do not eat, so if you do find a strange random inedible looking packet in there, it's not a little wipe for your hands, a little lemon wipe or anything like that. It is just to keep the product fresh in the bag, so you can just dispose of that when you finish with it. And the products themselves look like little daifukus, all individually wrapped. So let's open one of them. Snippy snip. There we go. So yep, instantly Daifuku texture. You'd expect them to be sticky, but strangely they're not. That's mainly because of the powder that is on the outside of it, stopping it from sticking. They're very stretchy as well, you'll find with Daifuku. So inside, I don't know, you might be able to see that. Inside you can see the filling in there, which will be the Hershey chocolate. So let's give this a try. Yeah. Very nice. I already knew I loved Daifuku anyway. That Hershey chocolate really accompanies it very well. Been very lucky this time round. Really enjoying some of these things. Yes, if you ever get a chance to have one of these, again, I would definitely say give them a try. Koala's March, produced by Lotte. Lotte was founded in June 1948 by Korean businessman Shin Kyoku in Tokyo, Japan, 2 years after he had graduated from Wasada Jitsugu High School. Originally called the Lotte Company, the company has grown from selling chewing gum to children in post-war Japan to becoming a major multinational corporation, including not only confectionery, but things like electronics, cinema, and even a theme park. Koala's March was released in Japan in 1984. Koala's March is in the shape of a koala with a picture of a koala on the outside of the cookie doing various activities. The filling comes in various flavours such as honey, vanilla, cafe latte and banana, including frozen banana. The 2 most common flavours though are strawberry and chocolate. Like many Japanese brands, they feature product mascots, and in this case it is 2 koala bears. The male koala bear is called March, and the female koala bear is called Waltz. Okay, so next up we have the Koala's March. So normally these come in a big cardboard packet, loose. These ones are snack packs, so they come in their own individual little packs. On the front of it, these particular ones have the mascots March and Waltz in their various sports attire. It says underneath them what the sport is. And on the back, it's got a little picture of what the snack looks like, and each of them should have a little image of the koalas on them. So, let's have a look at the first one. So, if you can see this, if it focuses on it, it does have a little koala pictured on the snack itself. Interestingly, the pictures don't actually look, well, you can really tell on the camera, but pictures actually don't look like sports pictures like the front suggested. This one looks like he's got 2 sticks in his hand. This one, he's in a space costume. He's got a helmet on, he's wearing a spacesuit, so nothing to do with sports, so I was a bit tricked by the packaging. Anyway, let's give them a try. So these are going to be chocolate filled biscuits. They do come in a variety of flavours. I think this is chocolate. Yep. So standard chocolate inside them. Bit of a crispy biscuit on the outside. They're alright. I can see them appealing to children, especially with koala images on each of them. Just a bit standard, taste a bit cheap. I can imagine them being in your Poundland or Dollar Tree or whatever your equivalent is. You could probably find these. Not something that I would like to eat a lot of. I might finish this packet. They're really a bit bland. There was something very similar to them. I don't know if they still do them in the UK, which I used to have as a child in the late 80s, early 90s. They were called cartoonies. Pretty much the same thing. Biscuit, chocolate inside, had a weird cartoon picture drawn on the outside of them. I don't know if they still do them. Just jogged a memory seeing them there then. They might do. They might taste exactly like this, which would be disappointing. Sometimes you do find that if you try something from your childhood that you really enjoyed, you find that's a bit of a disappointment when you're an adult. It's a bit of a letdown. So if I do find these cartoons at any point in a shop, if they still do exist, I'll buy some, I'll try them, and maybe on a later video I'll tell you how they compared to the Koala's March. But that's all I can think of for now. Fujiya Country Mom Cookies. The Fujiya company was established in Yokohama, Japan in 1910 by founder Rinamon Fuji. He opened his first cake store, calling it Fujiya and specialising in Christmas cakes. They have gone on to open nearly 1,000 cake stores in Japan. Like most Japanese confectionery brands, they have their own mascots. Introduced in 1950 as a promotional character for the cake shops, we have the eternally 6 years old female Pico and her equally eternally 7-year-old boyfriend Poco. Pico is always represented with her tongue out in a lip-licking pose, showing her love for the company's sweet treats. With the birth of the mascots, their first candies would be created in 1951, the Milky Soft Candies. These candies have a creamy milky flavour, extracted from the cow's milk from the region of Hokkaido in Japan, and a soft toffee texture. In 1962, they would create their first chocolate bar called Look a la Mode. These were small milk chocolate squares filled with banana, almond, strawberry and caramel. These have been varied over the year to contain many different flavourings. In 1964, they would venture out into the world of drinks with their Nectar Fruit Drink, a non-carbonated soft drink made by muddling the flesh of fruits. Originally the variants would be peach and orange, but this has evolved into a wide range of fruit flavours today, but peach still remains the most popular. In 1984, the Country Mom cookies would be launched. These chocolate chip filled cookies came in two varieties originally, one vanilla and one cocoa, but now many other flavours have been added, some which are exclusive to local areas, including chocolate mint, cheesecake, matcha pudding, amori apples, and even sweet corn. In 1990, they would launch a range of confectionery featuring the Japanese children's book character Anpanman. Anpanman is a superhero with an anpan for a head. An anpan is a red bean paste filled pastry. This was a big hit, especially with younger children, and that this range was targeted for, with lollipops, gummy sweets being a main focus. 1994 saw the final big confectionery release for the company with the Pico Cream Puff. This is a pastry ball with flavoured filling, typically cream, notably featuring Pico detailing printed on the pastry. These are usually considered a dessert product as they are very similar to the profiterole. Today's item, however, is the mini version of the Fujiya Company's Country Mom Matcha Chocolate Chip Cookie, which is a real mouthful to say. Matcha is finely ground powder of specially grown and processed green tea leaves, traditionally consumed in East Asia. It is special in two aspects of farming and processing. The green tea plants used for matcha are shade grown for 3 to 4 weeks before harvest, and the stems and veins are removed during processing. During shaded growth, the plant produces more theanine and caffeine. The powdered form of matcha is consumed differently from tea leaves or tea bags, as it is suspended in a liquid, typically water or milk. Okay, so now we're on to the Fujiya Country Mom Mini Matcha Chocolate Chip Cookies. Again, a long mouthful. A lot of matcha products in these snacks you'll find. Matcha is a very popular flavouring. So these are promised to be chocolate chip cookies with a matcha flavouring to them. So as you look at it, looks like a small cookie. You can't really see any chocolate chips on it itself, but I'm sure, promising by the picture on the front, and bite into it, there might be a tiny bit of chocolate inside. So let's give it a try. So, softer. Oh. Wow. These are definitely still in date. It does say the 9th 2020, so it's only just in date. They are supposed to be until the end of September. They're just so soft. I don't know if they're supposed to be like that, but if I had a cookie that was this soft, oh, there's hardly any chocolate in it, as predicted from the picture on the front. The matcha taste is definitely there, but the texture is just awful. For a cookie, that's very disappointing. There's almost no biscuit style texture or crunch to it. If that's what a Japanese cookie tastes like, I can keep them. Maryland will do me, or Fox's, or any other type, where you actually get a bit of crunchy texture to it. That softness just is unexpected. It just doesn't go very well. And the very poor amount of chocolate in that just might as well just be chewing on a bit of matcha, to be fair. A disappointment. Luckily, it's not something I have a lot of, so it's not going to go to waste. Yaukin Choco Hit Crispy Chocolate. The Yaukin Corporation